So let me give, or just my response to Danny's problem of evil from his point of view. So because from everything that we're just discussing would be more of like an internal type conversation. But when an outsider says that God is evil, or from this problem of evil, when imagine the people watching Jesus getting beaten and crucified, and all of these people standing around and saying, "Oh, how could an all-loving God allow this to happen even to his own son?" But what a childish understanding that those people had from that worldly perspective. Okay? Because from God's point of view, there was something much greater that was happening.
Yes, we know that.
Well, right.
We know about Jesus specifically, but what about like any of the more
talking
obscure prophets?
Bob. I'm talking about from an outsider who presents this problem of evil, and that is the narrow childish understanding, thinking that they can understand God's ultimate plan and thinking that God can't use these things to happen. And that same mindset would look upon Jesus getting beaten and accuse God of being this monster that's allowing this evil to happen to his son right before their very eyes. How can an all-loving God doing this? But in reality, again, that is a childish understanding. God uses these horrible... My church has grown just massively because of all of this nonsense over the last couple of years, regardless of your position. A lot of these churches have shut down. People's lives have been, there's been a bad thing. And I don't believe that God would regardless on what your stance is on how, whether or not God allowed this or created this or whatever it might be. I just want to let you know that the harvest has been amazing. So, God definitely uses these bad things that happen to his advantage. Of course, he can take a bad situation and he can pull good out of it.
He doesn't make those things happen, right?
But everything that happened to Jesus is what we did to him.
Well, I understand, but again, that's right, Jungle. I mean, that agrees with what I'm saying. There was a much bigger picture taking place, unfolding right before everyone's eyes. But the people that were there in that moment of time, they couldn't see it. They didn't see it. They were expecting Jesus to come in as a warrior and a liberator, and they were expecting the second coming Jesus to show up. But that's not what they got. But they got this loving man that walked around, God in flesh, doing these miracles and preaching this message of love and forgiveness and all of these things. And all of a sudden, they're, loving God the Father just allows him to be brutally beaten and crucified in front of everyone. Just imagine these people accusing God of being evil in that moment, that this God would be that would be the accusation of the skeptic. Right. How could God allow this thing to happen? But that is such a small, narrow, childish understanding of the biblical worldview, the overall picture of God and God's plan that you can't understand. So ultimately for me, that's where the problem of evil fails. Because we are opting for autonomous reasoning. We're thinking, what? God has this plan, but I know better in my fleshly state. I know better than God's plan. I can say God is wrong. I can call him evil. I can make all of these foolish things based on my childish understanding.